you can't use the word beauty or pretty in design terms. It is not allowed. Every single design must be understandable, easy to use. Mostly I am always with my pen or pencil because I need to sketch, because ideas flows once in a while. Let me start with the AI part. I am not saying I am promoting, but at the same time, it is something that I can entertain, or I am entertaining at the moment. The way I perceive the AI within is, it is a professional assistant. It is here to stay. I will just need to adapt to it.
Yes.
If you say using the AI is being lazy, then you are giving yourself a tough time.
Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Stack. I'm your host, Oluwole Majiyagbe. We'll be continuing our series from last week, Pixel versus Code. We'll be looking at the work ethics, the workflow between UI, UX developers and front-end developers. I have here with me in the house Mr. Kehinde Faaruq Azeez, who is a UI, UX developer. Mr. Kenny, thank you for coming on the show.
All right. Thank you for having me, sir. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here as well. So my name is Kehinde Faaruq Azeez, just like you said, and I'm a product designer. Yeah, I've been designing for the past 4 to 5 years. I actually had an origin from graphics and brand design before getting into the UI UX field. So simple introduction about me is just that I enjoy solving problems for user. And that was part of what actually led me into UI UX designer. Rather than being a random graphics designer, although graphics designer are not random also, but there is a big difference in graphics design and UI designer. You actually know this is a particular problem that you need to focus on. And that is what actually led me into it. So I basically enjoy solving problems for user. So that's just short introduction about it.
Oh, thank you, sir. Definitely in tech, what we do is we solve people's problems.
Exactly,
That's just the main truth about tech.
Exactly, sir.
But explain it to me. No, I don't know if you watched our last episode. I mentioned there that I am not really a design person. So I'm telling you also here, I am not really a design person. I don't know how to mix colors together. I don't know what blue will do with what blue color would work. What color would work well with blue? So you can see even articulating it. As long as it's colors, my brain just shuts down. Like, I don't know how to mix colors. I don't know how to, looking at what works with this, how to do this. It's one of the main reasons why I mostly tell people that I'm more of a back-end person. Give me a problem, give me something, and I can build an API around it that would make that work easier. But you're not telling me to do the front-end part, the UI part, the user interface part, like from the onset of my journey in tech, I've dabbled a little bit in front-end, and I can say I am not built for it. I am not cut out for it. So in your own words, like, how do you explain to someone who thinks design is just, making something pretty or just mixing colors?
Okay, I would say design is not just pretty. Yeah, we all know that, okay, we see designs that have good aesthetics. That's what we actually call it. Because saying we can't use the word beauty or pretty in design terms. It is not allowed. We have the of
I use it. Wow,
So we have
this is nice. This looks good. This
we have the of using our own terms.
I use it. I'm on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now I'm knowing can't use it in design. Oh, okay.
Alright,
My bad. I hope there is no penalty.
No,
for that.
not
My
allowed.
bad.
So saying design is just pretty. We design. And for you to have, just like your term, pretty design. For you to have a pretty design, there has to be something behind it. What do I mean by that something behind it? It has to be understandable. Every single design must be understandable, easy to use. Because, okay, for instance now, me building, okay, let's say an application after the whole aesthetics, the whole pretty beauty it has, then the simple thing about, okay, the single login button, you are unable to use it. It does not function well. It malfunctions. That design is not good to go. It won't fly. And that causes frustration on user's end. Because as a user, you expect that this thing should be functional enough to be stress-free, seamless as much as you want to enjoy your products, your software or whatever it is. So design is just pretty. It has to be something that is easy to use for user, because that's the main goal of all designers. And I believe that's the same thing as for developers also, because I collaborate with developers and I know, okay, when we try to balance everything, you want these things to be functional. So design is just about beauty, pretty. If it is beauty and pretty, just like most people says on their own layman term, if it is that way and it does not function, it doesn't create the good atmosphere, it doesn't create the balance, or it doesn't meet your expectation. So it is not a good product. And just like a business owner also, me creating a solution for my business, and after doing the whole thing, my users do not enjoy this app or my product. So the end goal, there is no impact on my business. Because as a business owner, you want users to use also your products after that, and you want to benefit from it, you want to profit, you want to make profit from it. So if designs are just beauty, if it is just pretty, as people say, without good functionalities, without you easily using the app seamlessly, then you can't even term it as pretty, because whatever you mean pretty, it is totally perfect. It is totally perfect. So design is just about pretty everything.
Nice. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no problem, sir.
UI stands for user interface.
Yes,
is that correct?
yes.
UX stands for user experience. Now, for the purpose of our viewers out there, can you just tell us what the distinction is between UI and UX? What is the difference? We have UI UX developers.
Yes.
I don't think we have anything like UI developers. Then we have something like UX developer.
Sorry for cutting short. It is designer, not developer. UI designer and UX designer.
UX design. Oh,
not developer.
Sorry. I stand to be corrected.
Yes, right. Yes. So actually, we have people that based on UI design solely, because it is two distinctions.
Okay.
They serve different purposes, and we have people that are based on US designs. Instead of using US design, some use US researchers. So the difference is in this: UI designer, they don't want trouble for themselves. What do I mean by they don't want trouble for themselves is that if you say you are using the two terms to promote yourself, to advocate yourself, that means you are into the research part. Because getting a brief, there's a difference between getting a brief, understanding the brief, try to make your research, because you need to understand the user. For using a particular product, there is different user for a particular product. So for you to start creating sketching, you need to understand the inflow. You need to understand this particular product, it serves this particular people, this set of people. You need to understand everything about it. There is research, there is data. You have to collate all these things. So that part is the US part, because from your research, you get to understand, okay, these users, they tend to not like this thing. That means you are getting their experience already. You are extracting their experience by collecting those informations. But as a UI designer, you don't go through that process. All you do is collect the whole thing and start your work straight away. So they go into design straight away.
Okay, so sorry.
Yes, sir.
That means all the wireframes, the ones that they draw with pencil, or that they use, what's the name of this site? Is it file?
Sketch.
Yeah, sketch.io or something. I don't know.
Sir.
Just sketching, placement, and the
Wireframes.
likes. That's UX.
It is part of UI works also, and part of US works. The way it works on the US end is you've gotten the data already. So all you just need to do is, sketch it out for you to be able to analyze, refine on it before you start your UI process, before you start designing. But as a UI designer, because we are different, most people, they work with companies, they work with individuals. So if you're working with individual, most individual might not know the process of the wireframes. But for companies, they want everything to be in process. So they need you to give them a sketch of what you have in mind, or what you are proposing on that particular product. So the wireframe is for both parties, not for a single party. But for UI designer, they don't take a pen and start jotting about user experiences or the like. They don't collect data. All they need to do is, after they've gotten the brief, let me just go straight into the aesthetics part of the design. Either they run the wireframe just to walk through the company they work for about the process, the flow of what the design is all about, or they go into the hi-fi design straight away. So the main difference is UX designer, they make research about users before getting into work. I know that UI also doesn't make research, but they don't go deeply as a UX researcher or UX designer who actually do. So UI designer does pick up their mouse, pick up their laptop, they start working. So they handle this design straight away. The process that a UX designer will take, okay, for instance, I say I got the gig and it says UI designer gig. For as UI designer, they expect me to go ahead to make a little brief, a little collection of data regarding the users that are going to use that product. Compared to, okay, they have their whole documentation already, and what they need is for me to execute. And that's the work of the UI designer. Because you have the whole documentation, you have the whole data that you were supposed to go out or make a research about. So you just execute the whole data. So that's the difference.
No, so it's looking like a really, really, really complex system, a complex process. So
That's
we will just see. We need an app for so and so. I know for backend, what we do is, like you said, we also do our research. We try and find out, okay, what are those fields that what are those data that you guys need to collect? What are those data that you guys need to see? What are those idempotent fields? What are those read-only fields? What are those fields that, like, I'm talking from the backend perspective now. So these are what we would use to create our database, our tables in the tables in the database. These are the things that we would use. I'm trying to paint something here. So yes, through the research is also how we know the roles, authentication, authorization. What are you supposed to do? What are you not supposed to do? Things like that. The kind of authentication we would use, whether it's just email, password, login, or whether we are going for SSO or OAuth kind of authentication. Those sort of things. It's also the parts where we will now decide, okay, I would build it for mobile, like APIs or websites. How do we handle pagination per page? A system or a website can say handle so and so pagination, but on a mobile, because of the so we need to know what data, on a table for websites is different.
Yes, exactly.
But on mobile, the same data that the table can take on the website might not be the same data that
it is going to be simplified.
Exactly. So we need to look at the unnecessary fields that will not be sent back to the mobile for those sort of things. So can you just please walk us through? I've talked about the process for backend.
Yes.
Walk us through the messy between someone coming to you that I need a screen for this, and you finish a design.
Okay, there's always ethic behind it also. We have ethic also. that's certain. We have ethic because as a business owner or a company or individual who comes with a gig or working in a corporate world where there is always work on ground by the companies for work they get and for you as a designer on the team. So we get ethics also. Just like I briefly mentioned earlier, and this is part of the work of the US end, which is the US designer. Because the first thing is, you can't just give me a brief and expect me to produce immediately. So the messy part, most people do not know. What do I mean by the messy part? Just like I mentioned is, I might actually just take a walkout, particularly on the brief, after reading, because I need to read, digest, understand what this thing is talking about. For that particular product, I might just need to take a walkout and look around, get a feel the nature, and see what might inspire me. Those parts, the business owner doesn't know. The corporate world doesn't know. Because we need to gather enough information, before we can just say, okay, we make an output. Without those things, we are only going to base on assumptions. And assumptions will always be a back and forth issue, which on the long run will frustrate me, designer, and we also frustrate the company or the business owner, because we will not align. there will not be balance. There will never be balance. So the first thing we do is, after getting the brief, particularly myself, personally, I tend to make research. Because before I could descend, before I could execute, even there's nothing I need to, there won't be anything for me to execute without getting information, better understanding about that particular product. For instance, now we have WhatsApp, we have different field. For instance, okay, let's say for a logistic field now, Logitech now, for a logistic field now, I got a brief to design an application for this field. I cannot say because I've been using WhatsApp, I've been using Instagram, I've been using different types of things, then bring that ideology in working on a logistic application. It doesn't work.
Well, but for real, it can work. Or if you build a chatbot,
A chatbot is different. But on WhatsApp now, you cannot track others. That's a different idea.
If the logistics app has like, hey, I just say, hey, I want you to pick up something from me, blah blah blah. Where's my order now?
You're going to make conversations. You cannot track live yourself because this is our process. So we can already say, okay, let me say 5 or 10% of what we use there might just be integrated in that, but they all do not tally together. They not do not tally. So what we do is I make my research, gather information, and I need to understand users. That is very important because the end goal of me as a designer, the end goal of the business owner or the product is to satisfy the user. Because it is when users are satisfied that the business owner can make he or her own profit. The company can grow. Because if users are not satisfied, your products will keep lagging and there will be no one on it. So the messy part is we go through rigorous research because we need to understand our users. After that, after collecting data, then what I do next is just try to sketch. Because mostly I am always with my pen or pencil because I need to sketch because ideas flows once in a while.
My brother, they bring it.
It's an inspiration.
The inspiration comes upon you.
So when you get inspiration, you do not note it down. You do not sketch it out straight away. You tend to forget straight away because everything is about process. But immediately you're able to sketch it out. Even from sketching, at times after sketching, when I go through my work, go through the wireframes to hi-fis, at times I tend to fall back to my sketch. Because if there are some things that do not flow after the whole hi-fi, the process is done, I need to check the foundation. What was wrong? What needs to be structured properly for me to get the balance? So we need to make research, sketch, draw our wireframes. Because wireframe is where we try to refine a bit before we add the whole color, the whole functionalities, which is in the hi-fi state. So part of it is we research, sketch, we finish the work, and we have to gather information. So that means we give to users. It is when users have tried the product that we gather feedback, we'll be able to refine. Because when we refine, that will be the final stage. Okay, after this refining of a thing, we then push our product out or hand it over to the business owner for them to develop or launch their product. It is later, after the product is live, then we can always gather little feedbacks that need to be iterated on. But most important is we have ethics because we need to make our research. We need to get things right from the start. So it is not that I just get brief and I give you output. No, there are some things that I've done behind also, which is part of making the research, sketching, and trying to tie down that inspiration. Because once it is off, then it takes a longer time also to finish up. Because if inspiration comes at once and you are able to execute at that moment, it gives you longer time to get that type of flow back before you're able to execute. So that's one of the things that we get as designers.
Okay, so another question. We now have a lot of AI tools for design. We have Canva AI, we have Claude Design,
we have Stitch,
like a whole lot of AI design tools. So you see people just coming up with different designs with prompts. What do you feel about all these tools? Like, what are the so apart from the AI tools, we also have some tools also in Figma. Figma has at I don't know how many years Figma has been now, but Figma has at 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's not the same Figma of today.
Yes, that's correct.
There's a lot of
New features,
new tools.
integrations. In
So, what are those things that you feel are so useful today for developers, and what are those things that you feel like it might be ahead of its time, or it might fizzle out so fast because it's not something that people use a lot or often?
Okay, so let me start with the AI part. Regarding the AI part, I am not saying I am promoting, but at the same time, it is something that I can entertain, or I am entertaining at the moment. What I am entertaining is I am actually using it.
Of course, if you are not using it, I liken this AI to this AI revolution to driving. Now, the reason why I said I liken it to driving is because at the time when my dad got his car, when I was at least a little bit old enough to remember some things, it was one thing that stuck with me.
Okay.
Then in Nigeria, there was nothing like auto drive
at all.
It was always manual. So when the manual cars came, I could remember my dad, I don't know who bought an auto car. Maybe it was the one that wanted to buy a car, that the car dealer brought an automatic car to him. He said only lazy drivers use auto cars. That auto cars are not as strong, they are not as versatile as manual driving. But look, I think it was like about 5, 6, 7 years down the line, he got his first auto car. And honestly, he really, really loved it. So it was more or less like, okay, this thing came at that time. Everybody was used to something else. There will definitely be different opinions. But the fact is, that auto drive, that automatic gear, it has come to stay.
And that's where we're going.
Whether we like it or not. And now, today, right now, give me 10 drivers, and I can tell you that maybe only 2 or just one of them will know how to drive manual. Yeah. Everybody is on automatic gear system today.
I understand this, and that is just...
So I feel like it is also the same. So if you are not using AI tools, of course, you will lag behind. You will not be productive. You will not get things done. But then, the same way I liken it to driving.
Exactly, sir.
Now, because we now say there is automatic driving, we don't need to press down the clutch, change the gears and the likes. Someone who does not know how to drive, someone who has not gone to driving school, should now go and start driving. It poses danger to life, poses danger to property also. So that was why in one of my episodes, I specifically spoke about it. That do not throw away the basics just because you know how to prompt.
Exactly, sir.
There's a lot of vibe coding going on out there today.
For
like, you see different applications, you see different things that people are doing. People are like vibe coding. You're like, wow, this is nice. But go to the code itself. They themselves don't even understand what is going on there. They don't know about happy parts. They don't know about edge cases. I'm talking about the back end. Yeah, I'm speaking from the back end side. What happens if somebody hijacks the JWT token or the authentication token of another user? How do you mitigate against it? What do you do with rate limiting? Things like that. Sorry, I'm speaking. Yeah, I know this is a design episode, but I just had to chip it in there. If there is anybody not using AI today, that person is not being productive. Whether you like it or not, he or she is not being productive.
That's just the honest thing, because the way I perceive the AI within is, it is a professional assistant.
Yes,
that's exactly just it. Because there are things I have a short deadline for. Although using the AI software, just like you liking it also too, who doesn't know how to drive and just went ahead, or who doesn't know about manual or auto of it and just went ahead to do what? Pick a key and start driving. You actually go wrong.
Yes.
You will eventually go wrong, no matter what. That is how we see it nowadays now. Seeing people using ChatGPT just the way they are. They like the judgmental of it. the design judgment of it is totally off.
Without even being told, you would know that
This is wrong. This is not a professional work. I still had this discussion with a friend of mine yesterday. Let me say a colleague, a senior colleague of it. He was just like, okay, friend, not a senior colleague, he was a friend. He was like, he was trying to bring an attention to a post of mine that, okay, can I put him through also on a design? I was like, you are a data analysis. This feed also design of a thing. It is not a joke. So it was just like, I was not telling him that we have a lot of AIs now that before I used it was like, there is a bit difference between learning and professional and using this thing. If I wanted to use it, I'll delve into it directly, but I know there is professionalism. So I understand. Yeah, I understood his perspective also because he know there is need for the foundation, the basic.
Yes.
Without it, that is why we are having a lot of shit that people are doing online now. It is shit for me because you can just pick up a phone of yours or a laptop, and one thing is prompting. It deals with your intelligence. Because if you are not intelligent and you actually don't have any basic idea about it, you will be unable to get a perfect prompt.
Yes.
Get good outputs.
Yeah.
Because when you, for instance now, okay, let me just say, okay, you pick up Cloud, you just write anything. Cloud will give you an output. But that output, eventually, how will you be able to process it? For everything as a designer, we only have a say to it. If I use this button, I have my reason for using the button. If I use this text, I have my reason for using this text. If I use this color, I have my reason. And that is what I feel is essential. It is because it is efficient enough. Because if I'm able to defend what I have done, then there won't be an argument about, okay, this design is having issue here and there. Because I'm able to defend, I'm able to talk you through the process for you to understand that this design actually has a say to it. It has a definition to it. People can just come out and say, okay, let us rubbish this application. So the AI tool is a professional assistance in the sense that you have a tight deadline that you need to meet up. Because I won't lie to you, most designers, when you give them works, okay, it is even everybody in this tech field, when you have a deadline of 2 days, it might be the very day that you pick up your work.
Even before the advent of AI, that's how we've been, honestly. Even before the advent of AI, that's how we've.
So that way, it actually speed up your work.
Yeah.
You're able to extract it, then give your judgment on it. That means you need to refine, iterate on it for you to get balance between what you have done and what the AI has generated for you. So for me, I feel the AI of it is here to stay, and we just need to adapt to it.
Yes.
If you say using the AI is being lazy, then you are giving yourself a tough time because it is really a tough time.
It is here to stay. It is not going anywhere unless we just want to unless we just want to kid ourselves or we just don't want to be truthful.
It's just a matter of pretentious because if you don't want to accept
unless we are just being pretentious, it is here to stay already.
If you don't want to accept it, you are just wasting your time because it is a future already.
Yes.
This is a future where we are.
Everything is like it's been built into almost everything right now.
Even in driving.
Yes.
We have the features here. So why can I say
self-driving cars
and all these cars, everything, they are all softwares that are built. So we need to adapt this thing and allow it to enable us work better. That is just it. Because it helps in the long run. No matter how it is, it actually helps. Because imagine me asking it to just give me a sketch or a wireframe for me to work on. That way it has eased my plan.
Yeah.
After the whole, I went ahead to make documentation, gather, collate data, and you still expect me to now take 4, 5, 6, 7 hours for me to sketch, for me to turn my sketch into wireframes. But once I have been able to do it, give this thing my data, my rough sketch on the paper, then ask it to do it, to give me the wireframes. That way it has make my work easier instead of me now sitting down and start drawing my rectangles, my shapes, my frames to create wireframes. Yeah. So it is a professional assistant, just like I said, and it is here to stay. So we just have to adapt to it.
Yeah.
So that's just it, sir.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So moving to the next part, the pixel versus code. The pixel versus code. Tell me about a time when you finished up a design, a UI UX design, and you handed it over to a developer, and then everything was scattered.
Actually,
Okay. Or let me just say what is that one thing that you feel like developers don't get
okay.
when you design for them?
Okay, so I guess that's two things. I will answer the two things. So let me say, first thing about the handoff is miscommunication.
Okay.
When there is no clear communication and collaboration between myself as designer and the developer, there will always be arguments. There will always be issues, as we always have. It is that communication.
Okay, so as something similar like that happened.
So recently, let me say about 1 month or 2 months ago, I was actually to work with a friend of mine also on the project. The brief given was not clear enough. We have a short brief. We went ahead to do our necessary things, research and the like. We get the works done. Thankfully, it was not through me. I was not the one that brought, because the developer brought the work.
Okay.
So we don't know the business owner. That's where the problem has started from. We do not know what the business owner wants. The developer brought a brief, a documentation for us to read, to process, and turn into design. We did that on our end. He did not create the opportunity for us to meet with the business owner, to know exactly what they want on his product. The whole design has been done, completed, handed off. Then on return, he said, this is not what the business owner wants. Then what would be the solution now after the whole headache, the whole stress? That is where it is. So if there is no clear understanding about the brief, knowing fully these users, there are users that honestly like WhatsApp, and there are users that do not like WhatsApp. They prefer another platform compared to WhatsApp. So their experience is different. It is surely different. You cannot say, okay, because WhatsApp is doing well, you want to enforce that on this particular set of people, users, that do not like the WhatsApp. So the experience is different. So we need to understand, after giving a brief, we need to make our research, understand, okay, this is what the user wants. These are their experiences. This is what they have been using before. And if you are coming with this sort of a thing, they need to be able to do what? Interact, okay, be able to understand, okay, from what we've been using before, we have a better option, a better solution that will ease our daily use. So if we are unable to digest that, to understand and give solutions to the user, there will surely be an issue. So that was actually what happened. Exactly. He didn't create the chance for us to meet with business owner to get his own insight, full insight. Okay, as a business owner, you must have seen something before you want to invest in it. So you need to have to understand some users maybe around you that actually prefer something compared to what is happening, what is trending, what has been in use. So if we are able to gather that information directly from the business owner, there won't have been any issue. But because we are unable to do that, we are done with the work, submitted to your developer to work on, just for you to walk through the business owner before you start developing. Then you came to us, return it with that the business owner do not want. So that is really wrong. So communication, it is an important and essential thing.
Thank you. So one question also based on this discussion.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever come across a developer that after you've designed it and they will tell you that what you've designed cannot be done?
Okay, I don't know part of it because it's just complexity. I feel that is one thing that we both parties need to always understand. So as designers, we tend to give enough aesthetics, the pretty term, to our works. We want the users, okay, it is not for our own sake also. We don't want users to just pick up this product or application or whatever it is look through it. Okay, the functionality is there. It functions well, it is seamless. But what will keep them engaged? That is what it is beauty. That is what we are always after. Okay, instead of people just using this software, this application randomly or anyhow, you want them to be engaged. You want them to always return, to feel calm. That okay, this thing, it is actually good enough. It is pleasing, it is appealing enough for me to use, apart from the functionality that makes it seamless for them. So if we are able to do that, then it is a success for us, and it's a success for the business owner also. Because if there is a return of users on the product, often it makes success for him, it makes profit for him. So that's what we are always after. But I understand at times that we designers also, we tend to overdo things in terms of maybe complex animation, and just like the developers also. Some developers also are mean also. Why do they say they are mean? It's little spacing or micro interactions they will tell you they don't want to do. And it is a lie. Because I know some will feel like, okay, we just don't want the headache of this thing. And imagine after me going through the headache.
It's unnecessary now. Why will you say that the space is too much? I mean, the space is too little. Leave it like that. Maybe it's just space.
That little space, it means
but it's just space now. It's just space. Okay. Yeah, okay. I said I should be as wide as this. I made it like this. You say it's too much. I made it like this. It's small. Please don't.
There needs to be balance now. There needs to be balance in everything, because those front-end developers, they like stress a lot. Like, they like stressing designers a lot, because most times they do all these ones.
Okay. Now let me flip that question back to you. Are you sure it is the front-end developers that is stressing designers, and not the designers that are stressing the front-end developers?
Okay, there are some designers also that they love a lot of work. They love to give developers headache also. Because imagine there are some websites that I see lately now. Okay, the complex animation itself, I myself cannot accept it, because it is unnecessary. It is not a good UX experience for users. Although there's a term that says every users are set for their own product. Every users are set for their own software or whatever it is. Because for those companies or websites to have been built that way, that means they have their targets, their users, the target users that they want them to access their software. But it's just too complex to me. Having a complex animations on website, it frustrates users at times, because myself going through the website, it frustrated me. I got frustrated. I dumped it. That is one thing. I can never go back to it.
But can you say like it was over designed
by the user, by the designers? That was what I was saying. That there are some designers also that go extreme, and these things are always unnecessary. Just like we have the Apple glassmovism of a thing now that is trending. Apple has done that in their own sales studios to advocate for their product. But now we see a lot of companies also integrating that idea. There is this glassmovism of a thing. All what they do is about glass, and there's transparency of maybe white on it. It is not necessary to be on all application on all, because imagine as a user now, I use this certain application. Okay, for instance, I guess WhatsApp also had the glassmorphism immediately also. I guess they have it, but it's the way it was done. It is not the shouting one that most people do, but I know it is glassmorphism because I can see other things under it. So imagine me I've been using a particular product for a while now, a particular application because it is mostly on applications. I've been using a particular application now. I updated to it already. Then all of a sudden you adopted another idea, which is not necessary, which I feel it is not important for you. There are other features that you're supposed to work on. You left that aside because it is a trendy, a trend. You feel okay, once you bring it to your own software, your own application also, you are good to go, you are good to fly. But that way, it has frustrated me also. Imagine having a glassmovism on a test. There are tests under the glassmovism or the Nava. There are tests under it. There are tests on it. That way, it is confusing me because I can see through what is behind. Because it's not all designers that are good at it. And it is what designer communicate to the developer that the developer will work on.
Well, I want to check that WhatsApp on whether it's still true.
I think so.
I don't know if I've updated.
Lately, the nav
Actually,
bar,
I'm using dark mode. So okay.
even with
You
the
know, I
dark
can
mode,
see it. I can see it studio.
it was in the because I use dark mode on my phone also.
The
Nav bar,
the nav
navigation bar at the
below
bottom.
it. I can actually
You can see through what is behind, and it is frustrating.
honestly, I'm just noticing it.
I when they updated it, I was like, this thing is not necessary because you are confusing me. I have buttons
It's
on top of
because
the nav bar.
for me personally, I feel like it's because you are the designer.
I have because
If it's not come attention to it, I would not even know it is there. I mean, I've been using WhatsApp now for a while, and I know this was not done yesterday. It was not done 2 months ago.
it actually isn't just noisy. That is why you do not notice it compared to what people are doing. But for me to have seen it, I know this. It is not necessary because there are other tests beneath the nav bar, and it is confusing me. Imagine me want to select one of the home button or other icons and mixing it up with reading text under it again. So I don't feel it is a good idea. But most designers just want to go into the trendy things and just let it fly.
I can see it on the notification. I've been using the notification. I saw it there before, but I think
So
you calling my attention to it has made me see it even more.
those things are not necessary. So those are part I feel designers also. And at times I feel designers also do not understand the technical constraints, the timelines of the developer also. Because after the whole thing now,
I like that too.
when you now give it the whole complex animation, you give it to the developer, we have 6 months to finish the project. I've taken 2 or 3 months to work on my design. Because of the flashy and complex animation and time, without understanding the process that the developer will go through also. After giving the work after 3 months. So I expect the developer also to do us round up within his own 3 months. Meanwhile, what me I have spent as designer months on, I cannot expect him to just write the code within that 3 months. So those things, the timeline of it, I don't feel all designers understand. It is only people who had collaborated enough with developers to know, okay, when you guys have argued a lot, that you fight a lot, you know that you don't need
Timeline
to do this.
because
So
there's a deadline to meet.
So you know you have to go straight to the point without stressing yourself and for you to do what.
So you have to deliver something that is 100% user experience like good, whose user experience is good, but at the same time must not be too complex for the developer to achieve in order to meet the time frame.
Exactly.
So you need to understand that you are working in a team. You are also working with somebody. You guys all have a deadline. You need to. So you guys already need to have that communication set. It is important. So you guys need to have that communication ahead of time. Before, so as it is for developers, so it is also for designers.
So we have to just collaborate.
Now I think I'm saying I actually resonate with that. So it is sometimes it is not about the fact that this cannot be achieved. No. It is not about the fact that I can't do it, but it is mostly about the fact that I cannot achieve this within the time frame given. Within the time frame given. So you need to tone it down a little bit.
That was just it, sir.
That's a nice take. Thank you so much. I really love that insight. I really love that insight. All right, so for a designer or a developer, let me use a developer now, for maybe a front-end developer. For a developer and also a designer who wants to design better, what advice do you have for them?
Okay, for a developer. Okay, let me start as a designer. I have a designer group that I belong to. Let me say several, but there's particular one design community. Yes. So we tend to at times, although we always have argument also between ourselves, designers, we have developers also in our design community. So at times we argue at times who overdo among between us. Okay, is it developer that overdo or is it designer that overdo? But in the short run, we feel okay, we both need to understand ourselves. If it is little part of the development, it is not that I need to develop. I don't need to write a single code. But the little technical constraints, I need to, this thing can be achieved. So maybe little understanding about the development part. I just need to do what? To be able to digest and understand. For me, for to even ease my own stress also, because by the time I am done with my own work, I hand it over to the developer. Then he could reiterate and say, okay, this cannot be done. This cannot fly. I am going back. That is repetition of work. One needs to have gone straight line. I have to reverse back, rework it before giving it to him. So I just feel little knowledge about development. I once write code also, but I did not go further beyond HTML and CSS. I ran away. It's not my team. So I can say little of we just need to get that little knowledge about development part. Everything is just the technical part. We just need to understand. Although I still struggle with it, I do not know it all because we are still working. We are still in progress of all these things. So I just feel we designers also just need to be able, even if it has to be during gig collaboration with developers, just ask a few questions. A, how do you think we can achieve this thing within this time? What are the things you feel I should not do? What are the things you think is okay for us to work on to fly? So even if it's not that for me to read the whole book about development, I just need to understand little things. And for developers also, I feel understanding the user, which is the UX part. Because there are some developers they don't send because they feel it is not necessary.
Okay.
So I that have used a particular button, it is because I have gone through my own research. I know this is what these designers, these users are familiar with. I made use of it. But you as a developer, you went ahead to use something else. I have my own reason. Your own reason is not efficient enough. You are just like, okay, it is not necessary.
Just your own thought.
Just my own thoughts. But me that I have made use of that, I have gathered information, data before I could have used that particular button. So that way I feel developers also just need to learn about the UX part a bit. So just know, okay, everything, the end goal of a designer is for the users to be satisfied, and which I feel developers also should be able to understand and know, okay, these users, they need to be able to use this thing seamlessly. The user experience should tally with what other products, what they be familiar with on other products. So I don't feel developers also need to just, even if it's just little piece of it, just understand the user's part of the design. The why designers also just need to understand the technical part, just for products to fly easily without arguments, causes of issues here and there.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Faaruq. Okay, so also for an upcoming someone who is having interest in design, where do you think he or she should start from?
Okay.
What should they do?
Okay, for who might be having interest in design, what I feel is they just need to understand the basics. It is always, or if it is essential, it is efficient, it is essential. Myself, when I delve into UI designer, I have an already in graphics and web designer. So I have the creative idea already.
You already know how to mix color.
So I need to master the basics. The list of the basics, okay. For instance, okay, you don't know how to use the common pen tool to draw yourself on Figma, and you just expect to just jump. Okay, let me just say, okay, just we have people now that are doing shit online with their AI everything. You cannot, who had gone to cloud to generate a design, how will he or she iterate on it? That is where the essence comes in.
I've also been able to generate a design on Claude
because
bring it into Figma. But at that point, I looked at the design and I was like, this thing still needs a human touch. It still needs somebody who knows about design. I'm not saying Claude did not do a nice job.
Yes,
I'm not saying
Claude is trying.
I'm not saying it is not okay, but the fact is, each and every one of these things still needs somebody with the foundational knowledge about the whole thing.
So that's just it. So whoever is coming,
I kind of like it because it helps me choose color, and I'm always fine with the colors.
Sure. Claude will give you a better color. Just like if you should tell he or she, if you should tell Claude, okay, this is a particular feed. Maybe it is logistics, agriculture, whatever feed it is. Claude will actually go ahead to get a brand color for you to work on that.
Yes, exactly.
But you still need human touch on it.
Yes.
Human judgment is still needed. So who doesn't have the foundational knowledge, the skills about making iterations on this or building from scratch? Okay, for instance, okay, even you're giving an assessment or you went for an interview after doing your work. So you went for an interview and you were given a full design to redesign or to dissect and start on the far. How will you handle it? If you're questioned, what is your reason for this particular button? What's your reason for this particular color? What's your reason? Because you got a rough answer, you will not be able to defend it. So the foundational knowledge is very, very important when coming into UI design field, even in brand or graphic design field. The foundational knowledge is always important. Nowadays we have YouTube, and apart from YouTube self, even if it is UI designer, this Figma of it has their own academic stuff. So you are always, it is online there. What you need to do also is ensure you process through it before you start working with it, because you can't say you do not have the knowledge about each tools and you just pick up Figma and start. What do you know you want to do?
You can't even just pick up Figma like that.
So you need to learn about it, and you just need to link up with people who have been in the field that can walk you through. And when I mean people that can walk you through, not just any other people, because we have a lot of people that not even a lot of people, everybody is busy.
Yeah.
So who will create that chance for you? It is who you need. And before even creating that chance, the person must have seen something in you. You must have something to prove by going through the knowledge yourself. Letting the person know, okay, this person is worthy enough to lift up. Because if you do not assist yourself, he or she might not be ready, because everybody is busy.
Yeah.
There's tasks ahead, everybody. There's tasks in my front, tasks on my table. There's deadline that I need to meet up with. And you still struggling and need my help. There has to be some things that I'm seeing. Okay, we'll be striving on this already. Let me just give my little help. So that's what it wants. The foundational knowledge, the passion has to be there also. You need to prove that, okay, you actually are ready for this, because it is not an easy task. There is no lie in it. It is not an easy task. You have to know, okay, I am passionate about this before diving into it. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Faaruq. All right, guys. So we are now at the end of the session. Thank you so much, Mr. Kenny, for coming. Thanks so much for sharing your insights. I've been able to pick, even me personally as a host, I've been able to learn one or two. So can you please just tell the viewers where they can find you, where they can find your work online? I know you guys use Behance, you use Tubu.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you use Pinterest.
Professional platforms. Yeah, actually.
So your social media.
I basically have my LinkedIn handles, my portfolios also, because I do not use social media a lot.
Okay.
I do not use social media a lot, because once you are engaged, I still envy people who have the opportunity or who have that passion in them. We being engaged, I still post most often. But once in a while, I have my post on LinkedIn. That is where I post often. Like, it is just once in a while also. The time often
so we're just looking for where people will connect with you. All right, no problem. So it's just Kehinde Faaruq Azeez. Okay, so guys, you can connect with him on LinkedIn, Kehinde Faaruq Azeez, and I would also link it in the description below. Thank you, guys. I hope you guys were able to make it to the end of this session. And please, if you've not yet liked this video, please do so. Like, share, and subscribe. You could have somebody who this video would help, who would learn one or two from this. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Till then, stay safe, stay sharp, and don't forget, keep building. See you guys. Bye.